Riri Williams. I've been rooting for you because I love...
fuck me!
Pinky promise. I help people realize their wildest ambitions. People like you.
People like me.
The selfish or the stingy. People who think they're brute force. Makes them better or more useful than the rest of the world. If we work together, you're capable of building something iconic. But I like you, Riri.
So, is that supposed to mean something to me? What's the catch?
There's nothing you could miss, Riri. Pinky promise.
Ironheart. What can I say? A show that's being forgotten even as we speak. But before Ironheart is Memoryhole as it deserves to be, there's something still left to say about this show, even though most people haven't seen it. Is Ironheart a bad show? Yes. Is Ironheart, Riri Williams, is she an iconic role model for young women, black women, everybody, like Whoopi Goldberg said? No, not at all. Ironheart was a terrible show with terrible morals, terrible values, horrible storytelling. It was a waste of time. But why did they do it? I think the reason why Disney did this is something that no one's touched on, and you'll probably be surprised. It's the resurgence of Blaxploitation films. Yes, Ironheart is the resurgence of Blaxploitation by Disney in 2025. And I don't think anyone's talked about that yet. I know. If you go online, you'll see all the shills will tell you that it's the greatest thing that's ever existed. Until you look up the details, and then you'll notice the public overwhelmingly ignored this show, as it deserved. But for those who did, the target audience, the fan base, found it to be terrible. And critics, as much as you're told they loved it, when you look at the top critics, not the paid shills, but the top critics, who are also paid shills, even they didn't like this program. But I think Disney thought they could get away with it. Because Disney thought they could bring back Blaxploitation. It's kind of like how the colleges brought back segregation. They called it safe spaces. And it was voluntary segregation based on skin color. It's racist, but now it has a new spin from the left, and so it must be good. And so they're doing it. And why not do that in movies? Even though it was racist in the past, even though it was exploitative in the past, why not do it now and make money? So Disney said, sure, we've got a girl boss, and she's a girl boss of color. Why not? It's a natural fit to just keep going and make her a girl boss of color that's exploitive. I mean, just flat out, not just subtle exploitation like we've seen in things like Willow and She-Hulk and Ahsoka and The Acolyte. No, let's go all the way. Go back to the 1970s. I mean, most of their audience that they're targeting, they weren't alive in the 70s. They don't know about the Blaxploitation films. And I'm not talking about the good stuff like I'm Going to Get You Sucker, which is a parody with love and reverence for some of these films. It's not like that. No, we're going to go to the worst elements of that. In fact, let's take a look. So, to be as impartial as possible, even though I saw I saw the first 15 minutes of the show, I couldn't make it past that because Riri Williams is a villain. She's not a hero.
The selfish or the stingy. People who think they're brute force. Makes them better or more useful than the rest of the world.
Again, let me be clear. Riri Williams is a villain, not a hero, not an anti-hero, a straight up villain. Not even a good villain, not even a super villain, just a really low rent villain. She's happiest throughout the show when she's stealing stuff. And she's stealing stuff throughout the entire show. She's happy to break the law. In fact, her superpower isn't that she's a mechanical genius, electrical engineering, software engineering. It's not that. That's not her superpower. No. Her superpower is to break the law. I mean, every law, whether it's legal laws and the laws of Marvel Universe and the physical laws. I mean, she breaks them all because she can break every law without consequence. But even though I could only get through the first 15 minutes of the show, I have watched reviews from women, from men, from those who are black and white, going over in great detail every single episode and the series as a total. And every critique that was put out there, and I've even read a few of the reviews from the shelves. And so when I was doing that, I noticed something that was very common. Something that was in the back of my head, reminding me of a trend I've seen in movies in my lifetime. Well, what was that trend? Blaxploitation films, going back to the mid-70s, even to the early 80s. Riri Williams is a blaxploitation character, not even a good one, not like Pam Grier. No, she was horrible. She was a caricature of Pam Grier. And I said to myself, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the way I see it. So let me go impartial. Let me be as impartial and fair as I can be. So I went to ChatGPT, so you can do the same. And I just asked, what are the top common elements in all of the blaxploitation films? So I'm not looking at any one film. I'm not looking at any one kind of character. I'm just looking at that genre in total. And what do we find? Okay, so these are mostly films from the 1970s. Again, most of my viewing audience weren't alive during that time. I was. You've got a strong, independent black protagonist, the main character. Whether they're a good person or a bad person, the main character has to be black. Okay. And that's Riri Williams, all right. And a woman, which is also not unheard of in blaxploitation films. Like I said, Pam Grier made a living off of that and became quite famous. But let's go on. And they also, these black protagonists, well, they're not part of the system. They're separate of the system. So they're usually they're fighting corruption. That's usually the case. Not always. Okay. It has to be in an inner city. It has to be in a major city. So it's not going to be, you don't get blaxploitation films in the middle of Kansas. It just doesn't happen. No one's going to see, or they'll never film a blaxploitation film in Iowa. Just not going to happen. No, you're going to have to go to Boston or Chicago, Detroit, or Baltimore. You got to go to LA, New York City, Chicago. You have to hit urban areas where lots of black people are poor in ghettos in big cities. That's every blaxploitation film. And that's also Ironheart. Soundtracks are a big part of blaxploitation films, but in this case, not as much with Ironheart, but we'll get into that. Of course, there's always the resistance, and of course, Ironheart, it's a black, modern woman, and she's, of course, a Democrat. So, yeah, it's very much resistance. Resist the power. Resist white people. Resist the systems. Stylized violence in action is something that we see in all blaxploitation films and also in Ironheart. Sex appeal, sexual liberation. Believe it or not, that's in there too. Over-the-top villains. Oh yeah, we've got that. And matter of fact, the entire show of Ironheart, all villains. But we'll get to that. Gritty, low-budget aesthetic, slang, and drug culture and crime. Wow. That's every blaxploitation film in the 1970s. All of them. Good ones, bad ones, everything in between. And I'm sure as I was going through that list, you absolutely caught all of the similarities between, if you saw Ironheart, you can already imagine each and every one of them. But I wanted to be sure that it's not just me. I'm not just being the guy making this up in my head. So I asked ChatGPT. Again, is there a connection? Are there the same themes in blaxploitation films from Disney that are in 2025 in a modern Marvel universe? And the answer is yes. Marvel went all the way there. They went there. They did this. So again, what are the things that we can absolutely say with ChatGPT, as neutral as I can get? What do we find? Strong, independent black protagonist. Riri Williams is a strong, independent black woman. She don't need no man. She don't need the government. She doesn't need MIT. She gets kicked out instantly. She's on her own and she's making her own decisions. Mind you, every decision's an act of criminality. She makes the morally bankrupt decision every single time that she's given a choice. Every time. But you know what? She is the main character, therefore the protagonist. I wouldn't call her a good person. I'd make her the villain. In fact, Ironheart is the story of villains. A group of villains, each of them trying to be the best villain they can be. There are no good people. If anything, the only good person probably would be Aaron Eckhart, Obadiah Stane's son, Ezekiel. Maybe the AI of Natalie. Those are probably the only really good characters main characters that we see throughout the series. They're like the only good people, and even they aren't exactly good. I mean, the AI lets people die, and Ezekiel Stane, well, he's a bad guy, but he makes a morally good decision. In fact, even you can, if you watch the series or see the reviews, even Mephisto is more morally kind. He's more kind than even Riri Williams. He actually gives her what she wants. Not just what she thinks she wants, but the root of what she wants. She wanted her friend back. And Riri was very selfishly just thinking about the AI, which would allow her to use her suit. But no. He gave her friend back. The actual human being. The core of what Natalie the AI was. He gave her human being back. So, Mephisto is more moral and more kind than even Riri. Yeah, she's a villain, but somehow she's the protagonist and we're supposed to think she's a good person. But then again, you're not supposed to notice that this is blaxploitation just with a 2025 spin on it. Okay, let's go on. Inner city, like I said, has to be one of the big cities. And of course, Chicago, one of the major black cities in America. Check, check, check. Absolutely. Now, it's not very clear whether, based on the scenes, you kind of think that Riri Williams is living in a house based on some of the first scenes we see her in. But then later on, we see her and it looks like she's in a ghetto in the projects. So, not really sure where she lives. Pretty sure it's supposed to be the projects. That's ghetto. So, really, that fits right in with the theme of a blaxploitation film. Let's move on. Soundtrack. Is it the same? I mean, there's some clips throughout this series that do hit things like Shaka Khan that are definitely in that funky 70s soul music style, but not really a big focus. But then again, that kind of music, R&B, isn't the most popular thing today. No, pop songs and gangsta rap, there's that. And of course, Marvel is more than happy to shove that in because they think black people, you must love rap music, right? I mean, black people and rap music, synonymous. By the way, the people who buy the most rap music, white people. That's just a reality there. But no, and by the way, I don't like rap after 1992. Never enjoyed gangsta rap. I'd rather listen to Ave Maria than any of the crap they have out there today. Generic, useless, meaningless. That's just the truth. But, so there is some of that music in Ironheart, but that isn't the majority of the music in Ironheart. So, not really getting the music part, but let's move on. But the thing that is huge is the themes. And Disney loves to make movies about themes. That's the modern Hollywood thing. Shove in all the themes. Theme. Plot, not so much. Character, who cares? Morality? No, that's in the toilet. Forget about that. Set it on fire. But themes, hey, let's shove some more indoctrination down your throat. Let's target the youngest audience we can and get them indoctrinated as soon as possible so they can be lifetime victims. That's what they go after. And oh my God, do we have themes in Ironheart. She is a victim, the eternal, constant victim. She's a victim at MIT, even though she has a full scholarship, and she's going for her doctorate. She's already got a degree. She already graduated at 15. She has a degree. She's going for her advanced degrees. She's got a full boat scholarship, and they bent over backwards just to make sure Riri would be as comfortable as possible. She's breaking the law for God knows how long. It seems like, based on Riri's own words, 4 years she's been breaking the law, plagiarizing, and MIT turned their back on it. They've ignored it. They've had conversations with her over and over again about her criminality, about her attitude, about her failure, and they let her stay anyway for 4 years. You can't say that she didn't have every opportunity, but according to Riri, that's not enough. She's entitled. You must give her more. The modern theme of entitlement, of indoctrination, of intersectionality. You can never be leftist enough. You can never give them enough. They always must take more. It's why they're always miserable. And Riri, throughout the entire show, is miserable. She's a great progressive. So we see that. And she's supposed to be an image of black excellence. At least that's what Disney wants you to think on the surface. Except there's nothing excellent about Riri. She's a criminal by choice. She has many choices throughout the entire show. And every time she chooses to be a criminal, when all logic says she could be a billionaire in a heartbeat at any moment throughout this entire show. Her knowledge about Wakanda and its secrets, her ability to make these power suits at all, functional suits just like Iron Man that no other country seems capable of being able to do, her ability to make technology like make AIs off of a laptop, her ability to make a wristwatch that has a force field that protects people from bullets. Like there isn't a law enforcement, a military that wouldn't pay billions for that. Hell, tens of billions for that. just for their dignitaries, just for the leaders of countries to protect themselves from assassinations. You mean to tell me they wouldn't pay for that? And she has no ability to sell any of that tech besides all the other stuff she's been making for MIT students for 4 years. You mean none of that stuff would sell? Are you kidding? She's not rich because she's an idiot, so there is no black excellence, unless you think that blacks are excellent when they are criminals. Like, that's the only route to excellence for black people, which I refuse and I reject, but that's what Disney is telling us. But, Riri, she's always resisting. She's resisting the college system. She's resisting the government. That's why she won't work with them and make billions in the military-industrial complex. Billions upon billions. And she doesn't have to go to Palo Alto and sit in an office with a bunch of other people. Just on what we see that she's made, easily she could sit at home all day and they would pay her billions just for the ideas she's already developed, let alone anything she might make in the future. She can be an independent contractor, but she seems not to be smart enough to understand she could do that. But she's going to resist the government. She's going to resist private businesses that would make her all the money that she wants. That is her theme. She is greedy and selfish. She wants money and she wants recognition. Sounds almost like Dr. Doom in some ways. And of course, she's the smartest person in the room. Now, according to ChatGPT, she's supposed to be, her intelligence is her weapon. Not really. Not really. But fair enough. Her suit. Okay. How about this? Stylized violence and action. Well, it is a Marvel MCU experience. It is a Disney superhero movie. So yeah, there's violence. Absolutely. And it's hyper stylized. It's stupid. It's ugly. But there's violence and it's stylized and it is cartoon. It's cartoonish. You drop a grenade on someone, it's 2 feet in front of them, and they pick up a cookie cutter sheet, and that protects them from a grenade. You hit someone with a gas canister, square, firing off, and it hits them square in their chest, lifts them up and drops them 5-10 feet away into a table and destroys that table. And they're not dead? Are you kidding me? There's a truck moving at 60 miles an hour and Ironheart stops it dead in its tracks and no one crashes through the window. No one's hurt in the car accident, can get out the car perfectly. Hair isn't even messed up. Yeah, hyper stylized and cartoonish. Again, this is Riri Williams. Breaks the rules of the universe. Oh, she can be as violent as she wants to be, and she'll only sometimes cause people to die and to be killed by her actions. Usually more indirectly, because no one wants you to think about Riri as a murderer. They don't want you to see that directly and say, oh, well, she's a murderer directly. They want you to just know in the back of your head, oh, no, she's indirectly a murderer. She could save people. She doesn't. She's completely selfish and self-centered and greedy. She doesn't care about the damage or the consequences to others. She just wants what's for her. That's a villain. That's a villainous story. Not a hero story. But let's move on. So there is violence. How about sex appeal and sexual liberation? Really, you don't get a whole lot of that in the series. But then again, it's a Disney show for young kids. It's targeting teenagers and younger. The younger the audience, the better for the indoctrination that's been slipped in there to really lower the standards of young black women about themselves. Their self-image and self-respect we got to drop that down. And it's easier to do that to a young child who hasn't built up their self-image and their self-respect, it's easier to put a cap and a ceiling on the youngest ones than those who are older. So we're not going to deal with sexuality, which would be too much. No, we want to hit something easy. But they did slip it in there, talking about, well, does Riri have a boy and or a girl in her room in her mother's house? So they hint at, no, their sexuality and the kind of flirtatious, the empty desire, the unrequited interest of Xavier towards Riri, and Riri could care less, not even touching on the fact that he has romantic, if not, or at least friendly, but perhaps romantic intentions with her, and she completely throws that away. It's meaningless to her, possibly because he's just poor, and he's just a regular guy, and he has no special abilities. He can't advance the iconic image of Ironheart. He can't lift up Riri, so he doesn't really count for anything. He's not capable of doing things, unlike, say, the Hood, who can lift up Riri by giving her the money she wants so that she can build the things that she wants, so that she can elevate herself to an iconic status. See, she's more interested in the Hood than Xavier, because Xavier can't do anything except give her love, and she doesn't need love. That doesn't make her iconic. That doesn't satisfy her selfish needs. But okay, there's sort of a touch of sex appeal. There's sort of a touch of sexual liberation, but it's glossed over really quick. Okay, fair enough. How about over-the-top villains? Well, as I've said, everyone in the show is a villain. The Hood, his gang, Riri Williams, they're all criminals. And Ezekiel Stain, he's a criminal as well, black market dealer. Just about everyone that shows up on the screen in the show, almost every single one of them is a criminal or willing to work with criminals. I'm struggling to think of even one character. Maybe Riri's mom is pretty much the only character in the entire series that isn't a criminal or willing to work with criminals. She's willing to work with her daughter because that's her daughter. So I give her a pass on that, but everyone else is either supporting a criminal or trying to, or they are a criminal. Every single person. So everyone's over the top, and the Hood and his powers, over the top. Mephisto, over the top. Riri, over. There is no top for her to be over. It's just beyond calculation. Yeah, they're all villains. Every single one. Gritty, low-budget aesthetic isn't in this. So that's the one thing that we can absolutely say that is found in Blaxploitation that isn't in Ironheart. It's the one thing that is absolutely, so far, of the 10 major things you will always find in a Blaxploitation film, that is the one thing that you don't find in Riri Williams. Is that enough to say it's not the resurgence and return to Blaxploitation? I don't think so. The fact that it got a budget, mind you, the budget, which I believe is somewhere between 100 and 150 million, is a low budget for Disney Marvel. It is cheap. I mean, we've got shows like, I think Agatha cost $230 million. Almost everything that Marvel has done in terms of the movies are at least like around about $250 million each. So in terms of comparison to its peers in Marvel Studios under Disney, in comparison to the other shows like She-Hulk and such, by Disney Marvel on Disney Plus, it is the low budget version. Now, compared to almost anything else out there, $150 million is not low budget, but relative to its peers, relative to its industry, and the standards there, this is a low budget film. So you can say this is low budget. It's not gritty, but this is Marvel's low budget film. This is Marvel's low budget series. Budgets could go much lower. I mean, look at Willow, look at Witcher Origins. There are, it can get worse, but this was low budget relative to Disney Marvel. Was there any jive talking or slang? Well, there is slang in this 2025. Well, the modern version of slang, not like the jive talking of the 1970s, not like the slang of the 80s and 90s, which I grew up with, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of slang in there, and it's part of the conversational talk. And some may say, well, it's just natural. It's Ebonics. So what can you say? It's Ebonics. She grew up with Ebonics. I thought she was supposed to be a genius. I thought she was supposed to be capable of communicating with skill because she's intelligent. And language is a function of thought. If Riri is a genius, then she should be eloquent. But she's not, which makes me doubt that she's a genius. But maybe that's me nitpicking, but seriously, intelligence is a function. Communication is a function of intelligence, of thought. And Riri doesn't seem to have that. But okay, moving on. And finally, drug culture and crime. The entire show is a crime show. I mean, it's not as glamorized as, say, maybe The Godfather. It's not as gritty and also glamorized as Goodfellas. But it's definitely talking up. It's big up. Everyone that gets a moment of success, glorification, all criminals and their criminal activities. The scene where we see Riri dancing with them, she's making it rain, she's dancing under the money. She is at the happiest in the entire series. We do not see her happier than that one moment when she is reveling in the criminality that she has committed, in the fruits of her criminal labors. We never see her happier than that moment. That's telling you that crime does pay. That the reward for crime is happiness. Because she's never happy at any other moment. No matter what else she's doing, she's not happy. She's only happy when she has been rewarded for being a morally corrupt individual. Again, Whoopi Goldberg thinks this is the moral message for women and young women and black women and everyone. I don't see it, but I don't know, Whoopi. You sound like you've been corrupted by Hollywood and progressives far too much. I don't know. It just seems to be. So when I look at this list, so we've got a strong black woman protagonist, absolutely. Urban setting, resistance, and she's empowered. She don't need no man. She don't need no government. She don't need no college. She's Riri. She's iconic. Stylized action, over-the-top villains, whether it's the Hood or Mephisto, whether it's the Slug and the crew, or hell, Riri herself. Yeah, we got lots of villains there. Funk, soul track, okay, one out. Sexual liberation, it's in there. It's not strong, it's not a lot, it's in there. Gritty aesthetic, compared to other MCU movies, yes. Compared to the other MCU TV series, yes. Compared to anything else, any other genre, not really. No, it's not a low budget film at all. But relative to the niche that it is in, this is low budget. This is gritty. In that niche, So, yes, that counts. Slang, absolutely. Crime, absolutely. No drugs. Well, there is one drug, but no drugs. But crime, absolutely. Crime is glorified. Criminality is glorified. Violence is glorified. Murder was glorified in this show. So out of the top 10 things that you find commonly in blaxploitation films, Ironheart has 9 of them. 9 out of 10. Seriously. This is a blaxploitation film. I know, people are going to forget about Riri Williams, and probably already have. People are going to forget about Ironheart, and probably already have, and I can't blame you for that. But I got to tell you, it troubles me that Marvel is looking at black characters and they say, what is the most caricature way that we can appeal to black audiences? Nothing sophisticated, nothing intelligent, as basic, bare bones, stereotypical as you can get. And they went with Ryan Coogler, and they went with 1970s blaxploitation. Some might call that racist. Some might call that disappointing. I call it a waste of time. But that's what I think about Ironheart. That's what I don't think anyone else has talked about. But do you think I'm right? Do you think I missed something? What do you think? Is Ironheart a blaxploitation TV series redone and glammed up for 2025? What do you think?
Digital flames, no soundbites allowed is the name of his game. With a coffee in one hand and his puppy on his lap, cigarettes curling, smoking his political trap. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue skies with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough. Republican dragon with his truthful slight fights the battles unseen in the shadows of the night. From policy to passion, he breaks it all down, giving a voice to the voiceless, wearing his crown. Caffeine-fueled mornings, the smoke curls dance, Puppy at his feet, giving life one more chance. Through algorithms and bias, he cuts straight and clear. Michael's roar echoes in the hemisphere. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue skies with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough. No soundbites allowed is his ultimate creed. A dragon's perspective where facts are the seed. Standing tall on his battlefield of thoughts, guarding the truth that others forgot. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue skies with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough.